AMD Ryzen 7 9800 by 3D 3D V-Cache CPU specs leak. Huge base clock speed uplift to 4.7 GHz and 120 watts TDP. Specifications of AMD's Ryzen 7 9800 by 3D 3D V-Cache CPU have been leaked, revealing its clock speeds and TDP figures. AMD's Ryzen 7 9800 by 3D 3D V-Cache CPU specs exposed ahead of launch. 4.7 GHz base clocks make it fastest among the Ryzen 9000 stack. The AMD Ryzen 7 9800 by 3D 3D V-Cache CPU is expected to be introduced this week, bringing next-level gaming performance that has been amiss during this CPU upgrade cycle. The chip is purely designed for gamers and is boosted by its 3D V-Cache stack, which has shown great uplifts over the past two generations of 3D V-Cache CPUs based on the Zen 3 and Zen 4 cores. Now, it's time for Zen 5 to receive the 3D V-Cache treatment. As per the specifications revealed in a Max Sun CPU support documentation for its motherboards based on the AM5 socket, the manufacturer confirms that the AMD Ryzen 7 9800 by 3D will be a big upgrade over the existing offerings. The CPU is erroneously listed as the Ryzen 9 9800 by 3D, but the official name should be Ryzen 7 9800 by 3D since the Ryzen 9 series covers the 12 and 16 core parts. In terms of specs, the AMD Ryzen 7 9800 by 3D is expected to feature 8 cores and 16 threads based on the Zen 5 core architecture. The CPU is said to operate at a 4.7 GHz base clock, which is 900 MHz higher than the Ryzen 7 9700X and 500 MHz higher than the last gen Ryzen 7 7800 by 3D 3D V-Cache CPU. The boost clock is previously reported at 5.2 GHz across all cores, but according to Fu, the 5.2 GHz should also be the max boost of the chip, making it 200 MHz faster than the 5 GHz boost of the 7800 by 3D. Image source, Max Sun, via video card. The CPU is also listed as a 120 watts TDP SKU, which makes it on par with the Ryzen 9 9900X, a 12-core chip. Now, the Ryzen 7 7800 by 3D was also rated at a 120 watts TDP, but its actual power consumption in games was much lower, most of the time even below 100 watts. The CPU does support PBO and CO and can be further optimized for even better performance and lower power draw. Gigabyte has come up with its X3D Turbo BIOS feature, which is said to offer up to 35% better performance, though it is likely going to achieve such high numbers on dual CCD 3D V-Cache chips such as the 7950 by 3D and the 7900 by 3D successors. Ryzen 7 9800 by 3D, Zen 5, 8 cores, 16 threads, 4.75.2 GHz, 96 MB cache, 120 watts. Ryzen 7 7800 by 3D, Zen 4, 8 cores, 16 threads, 4.25.0 GHz, 96 MB cache, 120 watts. Ryzen 7 5800 by 3D, Zen 3, 8 cores, 16 threads, 3.44.5 GHz, 96 MB cache, 105 watts. As for the 3D V-Cache amount, the AMD Ryzen 7 9800 by 3D is going to rock 96 MB of L3 cache, which is a combination of 32 MB of L3 on the CCD and 64 MB through the stacked V-Cache. There will also be 8 MB of L2 cache, which totals the cache pool to 104 MB. The CPU is listed as a C0 stepping and will be supported on AM5 motherboards using the latest AGESA 1.2.0.1a or above BIOS if you want to get the most optimized support. AMD also has new 3D V-Cache optimization and chipset drivers, which are a must for these chips. The Ryzen 9000 by 3D CPUs will also feature some really fast memory support with up to 8800 mount, speeds showcased in a recent exclusive, while the AMD 3D V-Cache CPUs will be the first with full overclocking support. With Intel stating that their Core Ultra 200S Aralic CPUs will be around 5% behind Ryzen 7000 3D V-Cache offerings, the next-gen Ryzen 9000 by 3D are going to sit somewhere in the double-digit uplift range, making them strong gaming options for the PC audiences. Now, we look forward to the efficiency gains and the prices at which the Ryzen 9000 by 3D lineup will be offered.